Yep, I was just I was still getting it ready, but thank you. Uh, this is weird. Oh, shit. Okay. This is uncomfortable. I don't like this starting like the countdown animation and music. It's unsettling. I've never seen this. I didn't know that you could do different ones from premieres. He must have set it up himself. I don't know. That'd be a weird choice. At first, I didn't even realize that that's what I was seeing. Oh, wait, you guys can't hear any of this terrible music. I don't know why that keeps changing.
Hello everyone. This is a response to Kyla's, aka Not So Erudite's video, The Sunday Conspiracy, A Tale of Two Streamers, itself a response to accusations levied by me in two videos which I will link in the description. At 97 minutes long, Kyla's video is bloated with repetition and self-reference. It is also appallingly dishonest. Kyla structures her essay as a series of responses to claims she attributes to me. However, not only does she fail to accurately represent even half of my arguments, she even goes so far as to outright invent arguments I didn't make out of thin air. Some standout examples include Claim 1, that psychometry is witchcraft. I never claim that psychometry is witchcraft. Something I point out in both of my videos is that Kyla constantly confuses the name of the credential she uses to justify her self-description as a psychometrician or a psychometrist, depending on who
I'm pretty sure she squared that away that they mean the exact same thing.
she's talking to. At one point, she refers to her undergraduate diploma in psychological assessment as, quote, an undergraduate diploma in psychometry, unquote. When you input psychometry into Wikipedia, it gives you an article for Psychometry, the Pseudoscience. I point this out as a bit of a dig, because despite the fact that people in common parlance may and do confuse similar sounding terms, and I even make sure to note that what Kyla actually means by psychometry is in fact psychometrics, the word psychometry is not the technically correct term for psychometrics, and therefore would not appear on a written credential.
And then you
Okay.
have, I have never heard of it, a graduate certificate?
Graduate diploma in psychometry.
Now, psychometry, as defined by Wikipedia, is, quote, a form of extrasensory perception characterized by the claimed ability to make relevant associations from an object of unknown history by making physical contact with that object, unquote. What she means to say is that she has a graduate diploma in psychometrics, which is concerned with the measurement of psychological constructs, IQ tests, personality tests, etc. No diploma would have psychometry written on it, and the
Why is this a big deal? I don't understand. It's starting off weak, like he's just salty that he lost.
reason why Kyla frequently confuses the writing on her own credential, which she must have worked and applied for over a period of many months at least, is because no such diploma exists. This is Kyla once again failing to accurately reproduce the words on her diploma in order to justify giving herself an impressive sounding title. In Claim 5, I apparently say that you cannot call yourself a psychometrist in Alberta. I never say this. Kyla has made this up. In Claim 11, I apparently accuse Kyla of lying that she made what she calls an in-house measure. I simply never claim this. I do say that I have been unable to find any information about it, which is true, and this is confirmed by the fact that Kyla says she doesn't want to disseminate it because it is a quote-unquote in-house measure. Now, Kyla may well have co-authored what she has called an in-house youth addictions measure, whatever that is. She has not, to my knowledge, made its name public, and I have been unable to find any reference to it, or to her for that matter, on any public record.
My work, it speaks for itself.
Just because he can't
I already
find it
showed
doesn't
it.
mean it's not there.
I'm not
That's
going
not
to
a
show
good
you all the
argument.
details. It is an in-house measure. I don't want to disseminate it.
But not only does the inaccessibility of this measure make her claim that her work speaks for itself absurd, when she ascribes the claim to me that she never worked on any such measure, she is, once again, making things up. A much more interesting example takes place in Claim 12 that, quote, Kyla is not and has never been in any capacity a psychometrist/psychometrician, unquote. In fact, once again, I never claimed this, but Kyla stitches together multiple clips from two different parts of my first video out of context and even out of chronological order to make it appear as though I do. Here are the clips as Kyla presents them. Kyla Turner is not a psychometrician, either by qualification or by special permission, and she doesn't have any piece of paper reading graduate diploma in psychometry or in psychometrics. She can't have one, again because there is no category for registration for psychometrists in Alberta. Unfortunately, it appears as if she has no right to either of these titles. This does not mean that credentials justify all claims simply. Often, people with even the most prestigious credentials are wrong. Sometimes they may even lie. Sometimes, true claims or even great discoveries are made by people with no credentials against people with the strongest credentials. And sometimes, someone with no credentials pretends to have them in order to make themselves and the claims they make seem more credible than they really are. Meet Kyla.
Do you still think that I am someone with no credentials, pretending to have them to make myself and the claims that I make more credible than they really are? I'm the real deal, Sunday. Your lack of understanding of my undergraduate degree, my graduate diploma, or my field is not an indictment on me. Stop weaponizing your ignorance.
And here is where that last clip actually appears in my video. Before we begin,
I don't
I
understand what
want
he's
to talk
trying to
about
drive
the
at.
importance of credentials and the grave dangers of falsifying them.
He doesn't have anything
Professional and
new.
academic
He shouldn't
titles
make a
primarily
video.
exist to claim jurisdictional authority to laypersons with respect to a subject. For example, a woman makes a claim concerning the efficacy of vaccines, and when challenged, is able to refer to a professional title as a medical doctor to bolster her credibility. We should listen to her because she's a doctor. She knows what she's talking about. If this claim to authority is distrusted, that is, if it is questioned whether or not she indeed has a right to that professional title. She can produce a written credential proving
is weird.
that she has been granted that right by a legitimate organization. If she can't produce that written credential, however, then she cannot substantiate her claim to authority justifying her claim concerning the efficacy of vaccines, and her claims may be rightfully downgraded to the status of mere opinion. In short, credentials exist to justify claims to authority. This does not mean that credentials justify all claims simply. Often, people with even the most prestigious credentials are wrong. Sometimes they may even lie. Sometimes, true claims or even great discoveries are made by people with no credentials against people with the strongest credentials. And sometimes, someone with
President Sunday made a hit piece on Erudite. Erudite responded, and this is his response to her response. But it just seems like he's fucking babbling about, like, he didn't. About things that have no bearing on any of the arguments. He's just like, I don't like how she said this thing about what I said in my video, but, like, he doesn't debunk anything.
no
so far.
credentials pretends
Really
to have
weird.
them in order to make themselves and the claims they make seem more credible than they really are.
And, like, this is the premiere. It just dropped at, like, 9 o'clock. So I don't know. I'm trying to figure out why the fuck he even made this at this point.
Notice that by this point in my video, I am speaking purely hypothetically about the function and importance of
I'm gonna let it play, but I'm gonna get some water.
titles and credentials. I am not even referencing Kyla. Nowhere do I claim that she doesn't have a bachelor's degree or a graduate diploma in psychological assessment. I never claim that she never co-authored a measure that was used by the government, and nowhere do I claim that her graduate diploma in psychological assessment is a diploma in witchcraft. The examples
Jesus
I've given are
Christ.
not exhaustive, but they sufficiently demonstrate one of Kyla's favorite strategies for deflecting accusations, which is to make up different accusations that are more convenient and easy for her to rebut. And she is so confident that her viewers are too lazy and ignorant to notice it, that she will directly misrepresent the contents of documents and video clips even as she shows them on screen. Kyla front-loads her actual response with a bloated manifest of her credentials, putting her impulsive need to embellish them on full, obnoxious display. She makes several incorrect claims to puff up her qualifications, which I'll respond to briefly, but more importantly, she introduces several documents which undermine her rebuttal of my claims.
So I'm going to walk you through what precisely my qualifications are to be speaking on these things. That way any questions or qualms are answered right here. I have a Bachelor of Arts with a major in honors psychology as my undergraduate education. Many people don't know what an honors bachelor is, including many people who have taken standard bachelor programs. An honors is basically when you combine a major and a minor, credit-wise, into a single topic. So in an honors psychology, I didn't do a minor. The credits required for a minor, I had to commit to psychology as well. This basically creates a specialized bachelor's degree. And in the case of psychology, it's essentially the equivalent of like writing like the MCAT or the LSAT to get into graduate school for like medical school or law school. We are now in psychology recognizing an honors degree as essentially an higher level of education that is required to get into programs that are as competitive as things like a PhD.
Thanks for following me, Wubsy. I have no idea. It just came out, so it's already too long, in my opinion, because he hasn't said anything new. He's just like being pedantic about her video. It's like he's critiquing her video on the merit of like not like anything that matters. Like he's just like he's critiquing it like he's her editor's editor, bitching about it.
Clinical psych program. A lot of people think that an honors psych just means good grades. But if you look at my diploma, it has...
I didn't expect anything, to be honest. I expected it to be shit. But like I expected him to have like a new claim or something. A way to like a poor attempt to debunk something. It's
the
not.
honors there,
It's goofy.
and with distinction. The with distinction part is the part that communicates good grades. But that's not all. I also have a graduate diploma in psychological assessment. Rather than telling you myself what that means, I'm going to let our old friend Sunday, Wendy, describe for you what that means. In this program, students acquire psychological assessment skills, specifically in personality and intellectual assessment. These skills are also titled psychometric skills. In some jurisdictions in North America, the term psychometrist is a regulated or protected job title. This is not the case in Alberta. So graduates who've received training in our psychological assessment diploma program, or individuals who have undergraduate degrees with further training from registered psychologists, may be
Hey, Fox.
employed in work where they use the job title psychometrist, psychometrician, or psychological assessment. Respectfully, Wendy, from the same university you contacted. Now that we've established what my degree and diploma are in, let's get into this even more. Here is my CV with my education listed. You'll see that I have a graduate diploma in psychological assessment, the graduation date you already know, and I have a BA in honor psychology. And if you want to know, I was a pretty smart kid even into high school as well. Here are the academic awards that I won all throughout university. Most of these academic awards were sufficient to pay for most of my way through my undergraduate education. Here is my research experience. As you can see, I did a thesis on a theory of social anxiety. I did it from the ground up. This means I'm the one who drafted the RAB application for not one, but 2 studies. I am the one who developed the novel intervention protocol and did the research into the literature around this idea. I'm the one who created the intervention materials, both the video and the worksheets. I'm the one who converted the established measure to analyze social anxiety. I am the one who analyzed the results on a statistical software called SPSS. And I am the one who converted these findings into a formal thesis and presented them. You'll also notice on here the technology use and impact
The
questionnaire.
fuck is he getting
This is the
at?
questionnaire that I've openly talked about with Sunday that I created for my government to assess technology use in drug-addicted teens. This measure was both exploring technology use in Canadian teens, and it also was used to evaluate the correlation between substance abuse and technology use. The last 2 are just 2 studies that I was a research assistant on during my 3rd and 4th year of my university. Finally,
Yeah,
I'm going to show you
fair.
the Youth Parents Addiction measure that I first authored. This is it with all the relevant information removed. As you can see, up here is part of the application process, and usually at the front page of a lot of different assessments.
Okay, I'm gonna speed it up so we can get caught up to like where it's at because this is fucking dreadful. I'm gonna do 1.5 times till it gets caught up.
There will be an
Go live.
outline of the literature review as to what the purpose of this measure is. This section that I'm showing you is the youth only section. There was also a very similar parent section because we compared the youth reported and parent reported technology use and their drug addiction use. What you'll note is that I am the first author on the measure. I did the bulk of the work. My supervisor is the second and co-author. I then worked for 1.5 years as an addictions counselor. During my work there, addictions counselor became a licensed profession, and I registered as well. While working at the
That's what
Addiction
it's
Recovery
looking
Center,
like,
I
Sick.
fully
This
revamped
is
their assessment protocols. I established an empirically studied suicide risk assessment by Chu et al.,
painful.
and I updated their mental health assessment forms for intake. I also helped the team
All up to Erudite. Everything I needed to see in her video was in the first 10 minutes. So rewatching this is just like very boring, very rough to deal with, and I really wish he would make some kind of new claim or something. Jesus Christ.
create a quarterly evaluation measure to use with clients to track their improvement over time in treatment quantitatively.
She says being in the Honors BA program is equivalent to taking the MCAT or LSAT in medical or law school, respectively. This is false. She emphasizes that she did the bulk of the work on a co-authored paper during her undergraduate degree. This is irrelevant and confers no special title upon her. And imagine if it did. This would imply that she could call herself a psychometrician before even getting a bachelor's degree. She notes that she became a licensed addictions counselor midway through working as an unregulated addictions counselor. If you go to the Canadian Addiction Counselors Certification Federation website, www.caccf.ca, and look at the registration requirements to be a licensed addictions counselor in Canada, you will note that Kyla's qualifications for being a licensed addictions counselor amount to no more than her being an unlicensed one for some set of hours already. This is not an additional qualification that lends
Wait.
her credibility as an expert on psychology or mental health.
Wait. It is expected that the supervision will be continuous, ongoing as part of the counselor's experience. A supervisor should be interpreted to mean the person's clinical training is supervised Designed to improve. Yeah. 12 core function training must be eligible. All clinical training hours must be documented as to where and whom they took place with. What materials covered. The documentation must indicate a minimum of 10 hours of supervision in each of the 12 functions. Okay. This is not super clear to me.
Already. This is not an additional qualification that lends her credibility as an expert on psychology or mental health, but she includes this in order to point out that she updated their forms and helped, note that word, helped, with making a quarterly tool to track patient progress. If you're not paying attention, you might go, oh look, see, she was working as a psychometrician. No. She was working as an unlicensed addictions counselor with a bachelor's degree until registration suddenly became an option, at which point her unlicensed experience fulfilled the requirements for her license. No further credential or title is conferred. She was essentially just put to work in an unregulated position as a student with a bachelor's degree. This was an extremely long-winded way to say that she has a bachelor's degree in honors psychology, which she graduated from, with distinction, credit where it is due, and a graduate diploma in psychological assessment. She might also have added, for the benefit of those who don't know, that this graduate diploma is a 6-course program focused on personality and intellectual tests, as evidenced by the letter of recommendation she supplies from her supervisor. Now, where Kyla does represent my claims with an acceptable degree of accuracy, her answers are themselves either extremely dishonest or incoherent. Recall that the central claim of my previous 2 videos, which Kyla has referenced, is that Kyla has been misleading about her credentials in order to appear more credible with respect to matter relevant to the areas of psychology and mental health, and that this is problematic, not to say seriously unethical, for several reasons. First, because it gives untrue statements she continues to make the appearance of being the product of professional wisdom. Second, because it misleads.
I just want to say I appreciate both Sick and people in Twitch that just have absolutely no patience for his bullshit.
People about her expertise when she pontificates on matters within the realm of psychology and mental health. And third, because she sells a service navigating a publicly accessible therapist locator tool, vetting therapists for vulnerable members of her audience on the basis of highly specific psychiatric needs, who she explicitly acknowledges might be suffering from financial hardship, and these people may be parting with their money under the false pretense that she has qualifications and specialized knowledge that she in fact cannot rightfully claim.
Now there's a different claim. Sells a service navigating a publicly accessible therapist locator tool. Vetting therapists for vulnerable members of her audience on the basis of highly specific psychiatric needs. These people may be parting with them false pretense qualifications. And
false pretense that she has qualifications and specialized knowledge that she in fact cannot rightfully claim.
if she says she's a psychometrician, which she has worked as one. Therefore, she is one. I don't understand what she's fucking claiming that she's not.
So as some of you may know, I actually offer this as a $40 service. With this service, I give you 3 therapists. Sometimes I give you 4, depending on your complex needs, that I've vetted and highly recommend and encourage you to contact. So what I'm going to do first is just vet against the psychologists. So probably what I'm going to do for this individual for price ranges, since I'm offering a service as well, as psychologists are going to be more expensive than like typically somebody who's just like a licensed therapist. So I'm probably going to send her 2 psychologists and then a licensed therapist as a third option in case she needs a little bit of a lower price.
What credentials has Kyla claimed that I find problematic? First, she frequently claims the title psychometrician for herself. For those of you watching this who somehow still do not know what a psychometrician is a scientist who can independently develop assessment tests and has the authority to validate tests made by others. Second, she claims that psychometrician is her highest level of professional training. What this implies is that she has had formal training which specifically gives her the right to call herself a psychometrician on the basis of that training, or that she has worked professionally as a psychometrician and that is her training. Third, she has claimed that she has a graduate degree, not merely a graduate diploma. In my videos, I claim that 1, Kyla cannot call herself a psychometrician because she is neither employed nor credentialed as one. 2, that psychometrician is not her highest level of...
That was already... She worked as one. Am I not a surveillance specialist because I'm not currently working as one? Although I have been employed as one? What the fuck?
Professional training, as this implies credentials and experience that she does not in fact have. And 3, that psychometrist is not a graduate degree as she claims, at least not where she graduated, and this last point is interesting for reasons I'll return to shortly. Kyla's strategies to counter the first 2 claims are threefold. First, she insists that psychometrician and psychometrist are interchangeable terms, and that she is therefore within her rights to call herself a psychometrician because she is within her rights to call herself a psychometrist.
Pretty sure she showed the 2, yeah. And by the way, I'm done eating my bagel. Sorry for that.
Is no formal certification for
I'm bad, I was
psychologists
hungry.
or psychometricians in Alberta. Yet there are a plethora of positions labeled as psychometrician, psychometrist in Alberta, and people use that title for themselves. Here, is that same Government of Alberta job posting for psychometrists that I outlined required only the completion of a bachelor's degree. Here is a different job posting, this time for a senior psychometrician. You'll see that even at a senior psychometrician level for the Government of Alberta, the qualifications required is a master's degree in a related field plus 5 years related experience or equivalent as described below. Equivalency, a bachelor's degree plus 7 years of related experience. Here's a job ad from Quebec for a psychometrician, and it only requires a post-secondary degree in arts, psychology, science, health, or a combination of education and training and experience deemed equivalent. Here's another job posting, this time from the Government of BC, for a psychometrician position. I'm going to outline here what's very interesting. The psychometrician position requires planning, implementing all sorts of psychometric properties. This is very high-level psychometric work where they're essentially assessing, developing, supporting, doing research with psychometric.
Wait, like the strongest thing he has here is that tool where she's referring people out. Because that's new as far as his claims go, but he like breezed right past it. I don't think it's anything, but it's better than literally anything else he suggested. That's so weird. Because like if he really wanted to get her, he could say that some people think that she's like a psychologist because she's misspoken or whatever. That she should make it super clear what her credentials are when she advertises it, I guess. I don't think she has to, but that's at least an argument. It's really weird that he just sort of like rolled past it. Really fucking weird.
Studies itself. And what does it require? A bachelor's degree or higher in educational measurement, psychometrics, statistics, computer science, data science, or related field. My graduate diploma in psychological assessment would qualify me for this job.
Second, she insists that she is within her rights to call herself a psychometrician in the present tense because, while completing her undergraduate degree, she co-authored what she calls an in-house measure. Third, Kyla insists that she may call herself a psychometrician because her graduate diploma in psychological assessment specifically permits her to, and because she has worked as a psychometrist professionally, once again, presuming these titles are identical. The first strategy fails because her claim is not supported by the evidence. Psychometrist
Wait.
and psychometrician on almost all reputable sources insist on their distinction on the grounds of supervisory authority, i.e., whereas the psychometrist only administers tests, the psychometrician has the authority to create and validate tests without superior oversight. She claims that job postings don't make the distinction, but not only does the bare fact of imprecise terminology on a handful of job postings not determine what is appropriate for her to self-label as, especially when addressing a lay audience, her sole evidence consists of there being similar requirements for job postings
Interesting.
labeled psychometrician and psychometrist online.
When I said interesting, that was to somebody in chat justifying Erudite's claims, not to anything that Sunday just said.
This does not make the roles equivalent. Moreover, if you actually read the job postings she presents, the psychometrist postings explicitly state that successful applicants would be working under the supervision of a registered psychologist, whereas the postings for psychometrician do not. It is also immaterial, because Kyla has never been employed under the title psychometrician anyway. She cannot claim the title of psychometrician on the basis of a job title she has not acquired. Moreover, the job search site Indeed, which is one of the most reputable and commonly used in the world, and appears to have been where she pulled the listings from for her own video, differentiates firmly between psychometrists and psychometricians, and unambiguously states that these terms are not interchangeable. Kyla has found...
Trusick, similarly to you not getting your qualification renewed every 2 years, I've never paid for the certification to do surveillance, or if you have anything to do with alarms in the state of Michigan, you have to have like a certification. Basically just something you pay for. I've never paid for it, but I've gotten many jobs with my credentials working as one for large companies, so...
a department somewhere which she does not work for, which offers a professional title, which she does not have, that may technically accept her on the basis of her current credentials. Perhaps she should apply. The second strategy fails because co-authoring a paper with a professor in the course of completing your undergraduate degree does not give you the right to take on the title of an advanced position in your field. Certainly not a title which requires credentials one has not yet achieved. And again, imagine if it did. Think about what this would imply. This would mean that both her bachelor's degree in psychology and her graduate diploma in psychological assessment are effectively meaningless because all Kyla had to do to call herself a psychometrician was to technically work on a paper involving both psychology and measurement in some capacity, even when the paper in question was co-authored by a superior who does have validating authority. After all, the measure was not validated by her, and when the test itself appears to self-describe as not being psychometrically tested. Her third strategy fails, not only because she has implicitly already devalued her graduate diploma in psychological assessment to nothing by insisting that she is justified in self-describing as a psychometrician because of a...
Wait, I'm gonna go back and see what that actually says. It's important to note, however, that the measure is theoretically derived and therefore the constructs behind it are empirically supported measures, not psychometric tests, and therefore should not be used as a diagnostic assessment tool. Tyler provides clinicians with an understanding of the client's technology use and impact. Yeah, this measure presents epidemiological research, the arrows in the way to explore it. Okay. I don't know why it has to be tested. If they're just authoring this paper to show these what's the word? Correlations.
Being psychometrically tested. Her third strategy fails, not only because she has implicitly already devalued her graduate diploma in psychological assessment to nothing by insisting that she is justified in self-describing as a psychometrician because of a single paper she did in her undergrad. She misrepresents
She couldn't have gotten the job that gave her the credential that she's talking about without her degree. This is a fucking stupid argument.
the contents of the documents she supplies as evidence that it so licenses her to self-refer as a psychometrician. That being a letter of recommendation from her supervisor, which only says that,
That's all I
in these
wanted,
unregulated terms
I wanted,
in Alberta in particular, recipients of this diploma may work in jobs with the titles psychometrist, psychometrician,
whatever views
or
I could away
psychological
from him.
assistant. Moreover, in my own video, I supply definitive proof in the form of another email from that same
Not to help me,
supervisor,
but to hurt
by
him.
sheer dumb luck since I only emailed academic advising, that this graduate diploma does not license one to self-refer as a psychometrician or a psychometrist for the same reason that it licenses one to take on jobs with this title.
Again, there may be specific requirements for the use of this title. And having the degree alone does not let you use the title, but if you work as one, you
is
can.
unregulated. Ergo, it
Jesus
is not the name
Christ.
of a credential or a certification in the province in which Kyla was educated, and she is not thereby entitled to unqualifiedly call herself a psychometrician to mislead laypeople into thinking she has stature in her field. Not only
If he actually provides anything to support this that counters what she has said, instead of just like bitching about it, I'm more than willing to say I think she's wrong here. And I really like Erudite, but I have what's that thing Sunday doesn't have? Integrity. So like I'm not just trying to like stick up for her here. He's giving me nothing, literally nothing.
does Kyla brazenly misrepresent documents as she puts them on screen, even implicating her university supervisor in the deception. What her arguments amount to is an attempt to grasp for an excuse to play fast and loose with titles when presenting herself to a lay audience as an expert in matters of psychology and mental health, as well as to psychologically and financially vulnerable clients when selling her services as specially qualified to vet therapists and psychiatrists on the basis of her professional assessment of their complex needs. Worse than this, however, Kyla never responds to my accusation that she falsely claimed to have a graduate degree. Despite this being the most severe and obvious case of her telling an outright lie about her credentials, and despite her demonstrating knowledge of the video in which I present this screenshot, she doesn't acknowledge it at all. Perhaps she is afraid that if she lies here, the truthfulness of it will be confirmed by the person to whom she was responding. I just don't know. As it is, we know she was aware of this claim, we know she was aware of the evidence upon which it was made, and we know that she did not, in 97 minutes of rebuttal, in which she constantly misrepresents facts, data, and documents about myself, about my claims, about her field, about her credentials, and about the positions of her supervisors, over and over again. She supplies no account whatsoever for her falsely claiming, in text, that she is, quote, a psychometrist, which is a graduate degree, unquote. Now, my initial video wasn't perfect either. I also made mistakes, and Kyla has been sure to capitalize on them, so in the interest of clarity, and because I care about accuracy, I'll own and correct these mistakes before we continue. First, I claim Kyla self-described as a psychometrist before
The Indeed page said these professions are not interchangeable. That is true. Oh, thank you very much for the sub, Jenny. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you. These professions are not interchangeable. This is true. The verbiage is entirely interchangeable in the public lexicon. Yes. Yes, there are technical meanings for these things. But when people are just saying them, they're essentially interchangeable. Even on the definition, she pulled up the definition and showed that it says that like they're synonymous in common parlance. While there might be professional connotations that can separate these two, outside of that professional setting, they are synonymous. The only evidence I need for my claim in this is not a single one of you knew the fucking difference before this pedantic cunt did this. You don't even need that. Like I said, she showed it.
convocating.
She
I claim
showed
this on
it.
the basis of my
Uh-huh.
understanding of Concordia University's convocation schedule and the fact that her graduation is registered in the class of 2022 edition of the Edmonton Journal. She only supplies her word as a counter-argument to this, but I am not, on reflection, confident enough in the force of my own evidence to sustain this claim. Second, with respect to mental help, I incorrectly state, on the basis of all traces of the material produced for mental help being inexplicably inaccessible to the public, the almost total state of neglect of the Facebook page after September 2021, and the website being defunct, that none of the promised mental help resources ever materialized. As it turns out, roughly half of them materialized before being swiftly taken down within the year. We'll return to this in a moment, but that's basically it. Now, unable to defend her misrepresentation of her credentials, Kyla's final strategy has been to try and make it appear as though any scrutiny into her claimed credentials is inappropriate. In the latter half of her video, she claims I accuse her of embezzling government funds. Nowhere in either of my videos do I even imply any such thing. In fact, I explicitly deny in both that I claim she has committed any kind of fraud vis-a-vis the Canadian government. In fact, I only mentioned mental help in my first video as part of an explanation for how I first came.
You can't say that she was never able to legally appropriate the funds and also say that she did in fact appropriate the funds without implicitly implying that she was defrauding the government. Both of these things happen in the same video. He's lying. He's an asshole. He is overly pedantic. And knowing the right thing does not always impact how he behaves. But he's not fucking stupid. He knows that he implicitly implies this. He has to know that. He is, he's being, yeah, exactly, he's being bad faith. That's what I was getting to. I just, it's like rotting my brain out. Like, I don't know how you can make yourself look this bad. There has to be something bigger here. There has to be, because you can't just make another video where you do nothing like this.
To be aware of Kyla's specific credentials. I am therefore not going to bother addressing this section as it is actually meaningless to my argument, except to make a single observation. You see, despite acknowledging at the end of her video that I have not doxed her because all of the information I mentioned in my video was on public record.
To be clear, I'm not actually accusing him of doxing me.
Often because she herself specifically promoted that information, you've seen how Kyla redacts information as general as the province in which she obtained her credentials, which are part of the justification of her own claims. Not only is this appallingly disingenuous, it undermines the purpose of credentials categorically. If we can't tell where credentials are from, there is no way to confirm their validity or what titles they confer or where. This is what credentials are for. It is also completely immaterial as the fact of the matter that she has.
I hinted at it before, but this is my favorite. Hey, Red Penny, thanks for following me. This is my favorite chat of any stream that I've had so far. Everybody is so on the same page, and it's just so nice to see so many people shitting on Sunday in one place. Wait, now he's claiming she defrauded the government because he said on Twitter, I specifically said I wasn't accusing her of that.
Has not only been deceptive and obscurantist about her credentials, she has outright lied about them, stands regardless. Now, Kyla frontloads the section on mental health with an extensive explanation of how she is not responsible legally for the project failing, for materials disappearing or never coming to light, or for the allocation of resources. She makes sure that we know that
True.
whatever went wrong with mental health, it was the fault of her social media manager, the
Again, that was to chat, not to Sunday. He's retarded.
staff of Adiera, the editing crew, anyone but her.
This project, at a recovery center with active clients with no technical due date, has just been left on low priority.
Well, Parallax, he has made one new point here, which is the tool that she uses to hook people up with psychologist or licensed therapists, depending on their budget or whatever. He's saying that you could construe it as her like that she's not qualified to do that, but he has to provide more for that. That's like the one thing that's actually interesting that he said, because I have no fucking idea what you would need to what kind of credentials you'd need to do that kind of thing. But he also hasn't even given his opinion as to what you would need to do that kind of thing and have it be like honest and above board. So it's really fucking stupid. If there's anything there, like either he shouldn't have fucking brought it up at all, or he should be going harder into that. Otherwise, it just makes him look like it makes him look really fucking stupid. Like why would you bring this up if you don't have something to go with it? Because if there's actually something wrong there, that's a pretty good fucking critique. But he has to provide something to show that she's doing something bad.
There's nothing I can do about it. I was contracted for a time, and now I am not. Some people, since the drop of Sunday's video, have tried to argue that since I was part of the leadership team as the head of the program, I am still personally responsible for the assets not being delivered. This is ridiculous for multiple reasons. Number one, I was an independent contractor. This is my contract agreement. In it, you will see that I am exclusively hired for service, which means everything else belongs to my mother company. The second reason this is ridiculous is because even if I was an employee and not a contractor, if my employment ends, I am not responsible for...
Well, sure, I would assume, yeah, because I was just thinking to myself, like, I could probably do that. I could probably refer people to, charge people to, like, refer them to good therapists with no qualifications. But if he's saying that, even, he should at least say, based on his opinion, what you would need to do that. Like, that, at least, that's an argument that can be made. It can be debated. It can be picked apart. It can be looked at. People can talk about it, but he's giving nothing for that.
The assets after
It's
I leave.
interesting,
This is
at
how every
least.
job works. If I hand it off to a new employee who is taking over the role, which in this case was the communications director at the company, I'm not responsible. I don't own the assets. There is nothing I can do. Even if I wanted to, I can't force this company to release the video. They are not my videos. They are the company's. When you terminate your work at a company, your responsibilities end and are typically transferred to your replacement. That's what's happened. I am not responsible for the videos not being released. Here is the official contract agreement and its agreed end date. Contractor, independent contractor agreement, Kyla. This contract will be valid from this date of agreement signed until May 7th, 2022. So what did happen to our program? Well, we did launch in September 28th, 2021. Here's the launch. Adult ADHD, September 28th, 2021. Here's our second video on October 12th, 2021. Here's our third video, Stages of Addiction. Here's our fourth video. Here's our fifth video. Here's our sixth video. Here are also photos where I was on
Incredible.
scene filming these things.
People on Twitch couldn't see the really good point that Sick made. And I'll answer you, Sick. No, he has not brought up the point that she is a woman. And to be honest, I don't think she has any defense for that. So he's missing another one right there.
Here's what happened. Without getting into details or company names, the editing company that we originally hired had delayed the release by more than 7 months, mostly because their artist was really, really slow in some of the editing processes. After the release began, they agreed to a 2-week release schedule. However, they very quickly fell behind again and could not release swiftly. We decided to cut our losses in December and let that team go. That meant we had to spend the next couple of months finding a new editing team, sending them all of the raw data, collecting the raw data, and then beginning
God,
to re-release them
Just
again.
tell me what you
The problem
didn't
is
like
that
about what
my
she
contract was only
said.
for a year. So we talked to the government of Alberta and they agreed to allow my contract to be extended another 6 months, and I agreed to a massive salary cut to try to get the program out in the next 6 months. By March 7th,
He added that Halo, right? He must have. Sick, you can steal my joke for that.
2022, my company had hired a new team to re-edit our videos so that we could launch with a cohesive brand. Now, Sunday probably doesn't believe me as to like why my team wouldn't communicate with me about the release, but they actually did. The problem is that the release took so long with the new editing team as well that my extra 6 months of work was up. So I agreed to be on volunteer to help them still edit the videos.
Yeah. Fox, I do think that it's really useful. $40 seems reasonable. I helped my girlfriend find a therapist. We sat down for like, I would say, probably like 50 minutes, probably just under an hour. And I'm going through trying to explain the different things that like when they show what they specialize in, what they mean and all that. It's not no work to do to like talk to somebody and try to help them find something that fits. Like obviously I didn't charge or anything, but if I was gonna do that for strangers, like yeah, it's work. Like you got to get something for it if you're doing this just for people in general. You really have to consider like what they're looking for and then talk to them and make sure they understand all the things that these people offer and what they specialize in and all that. I don't think you need to be qualified to do that. You just need to understand what the stuff is. Like you just need to understand what all the information on their profile is, communicate it to the other person, and then see how they feel and kind of feel that out with them, so that they're not just like agreeing with you. I would say you have like the only responsibility you have is to be like really good faith and actually pay attention to the person, really. And that's just like a like you're just being shitty if you're not doing it. I don't think you're even breaking the law. Like, well, you couldn't be. There's no way.
And in September, they contacted me with a new release schedule that they had planned. Hey team, including Kyla, who's doing the final review of videos for us. September
agree,
8th,
Red Penny.
2022.
I just did this like
We are planning a
2
September
months ago.
26th launch of the new mental health videos. Our first will be What is Addiction, followed by a weekly release and each
It's
Monday
not
until all
nothing.
13 videos have been released, December 19th. The YouTube campaign will end by December 26th. Here's the schedule of videos released.
Oh,
Does
and,
anyone know-
and I'll just add, it's fucking valuable because she's wanted to see a therapist for years and didn't. And all it takes for some people is just to have somebody communicate this stuff with them, and they can get into it. That's huge. It's definitely worth $40.
Okay, any other comments on the schedule? Some might know, but you promised 18. Correct. But when you have to cut your losses and hire a new team, we didn't actually even get to film the last couple of videos. The last 5 videos, we just never got a chance to film, and we needed the money we would have paid them for those 5 videos to pay a new editing team. So we had to cut our losses and accept only 13. And in case you're wondering, my former company is still working on these. The issue is they've had a whole bunch of recent resignations, they've had some people retire, and the girl who was heading up the program after me went on mat leave.
I won't speculate as to why she is so obsessively defensive about her involvement with mental health, but I could not help but notice that despite rigorously censoring information to make it appear as though there was some impropriety in referencing information she has made public about her credentials and work history, she makes sure not to censor the identity of the specific Adiera employee and their place of work she claims is actually responsible for mental health failing to materialize, providing viewers with a clear path to identifying this individual and their workplace in particular. This makes Kyla appear to me at least not only as a compulsive liar, but as someone willing to throw others under the bus as rhetorical fodder for her audience, or as an alibi in the conceivable event that she actually does fear some kind of repercussion. So in
Not throwing somebody under the bus if you left and they're the ones in charge and you're just trying to explain it. That's very bad faith. You're allowed to explain, and if the explanation is that somebody else did it and not you, that's just an explanation. This is it's like, it's so fucking stupid that I'm like pausing before I say things about it because I just want to make sure I'm like fact checking in my head to make sure that I'm not like missing a point here. It's impressive levels of being fucking stupid.
In conclusion, where Kyla doesn't misrepresent, she outright fabricates. The majority of her video is irrelevant to my actual claims, and exists solely to distract from them. Not only does she fail to adequately answer any of my claims against her, these being that she has misrepresented her credentials, that she has used the reputation cultivated by these misrepresentations to give her often anti-scientific and toxic opinions the appearance of coming from a place of credibility she has not earned, and that she has outright lied about what these credentials entail. By the blatantly dishonest way she has misrepresented information, lied about the nature of the claims I have made against her, and opened the door for other people to be targeted by claims which I did not make against her, but which she fabricated in order to portray herself as a victim. She has demonstrated.
He's given no evidence whatsoever that the person she threw under the bus wasn't responsible for it. None. He's just saying because she censored certain information on there, which appears to be personal information since it was right near the personal information, that she's lying about it, but he doesn't demonstrate that at all. He doesn't attempt to demonstrate it at all. How is he using that as...
Not make
Wait.
against her, but which she fabricated in order to portray herself as a victim.
He said she fabricated it. But, like, you gotta show that shit. Like, you already got put on blast, and everything that you said previously was very thoroughly debunked. And as far as he say, like, she never proves that she has a degree, maybe I don't understand the difference between getting your diploma and having a degree in these things. There might be some detail that I'm missing, but it sounds like to me she has demonstrated her degree. I don't understand why he is saying she hasn't.
She has demonstrated that she is an astonishingly dishonest and disingenuous individual with
It's fair,
absolutely
Fox.
no sense of responsibility to her audience, to her clients, to her field, to her colleagues, or to the truth, and that everything she says should be treated with extreme suspicion and prejudice. She should be utterly ashamed of herself. As always,
Extreme
thank you for
suspicion.
listening,
No!
and take care.
No, that's not the end.
When it comes to the topics
Oh, wait,
of dark triad, okay. When it comes to the topics of dark triad, of sociopathy,
Wait,
of
I think I
psychopathy,
said
shut the
shit.
fuck up, Ashley. Nobody gets a fuck. Shut the fuck.
Oh
Chill,
my,
bro.
oh my
Can you
goodness.
chill?
Wait, no, hang on.
Wait,
hang
wait,
on.
Kyla, you got
Keep
guys,
going,
guys.
hold on, hold on.
Everybody-
I'm Kyla.
It's
let me
Ashley.
finish.
Can you please?
When it comes to the topics relating to psychology in any way, I am your expert, okay? I just fucking am. And every single time I talk in an educational tone, if you feel condescended to, that's a fucking self-report on you. If you don't know the words that I'm using, if my vocab's too big for you, if Kevin's too fucking smart for you, that's on you, bitch. That's your personal offense. I don't give a fuck. I don't care if you feel offended. Be offended. Be more offended, okay? If you can't keep up with a fucking conversation, if you don't know what a fucking analogy is, I don't give a shit that you feel condescended to. You should. You should be embarrassed. You should be embarrassed to talk in public. And
This isn't really super relevant to, like, I'm just gonna say it. You can say I'm an expert in a Twitch debate and not have credentials too. I'm just gonna say that. That's fine. You can, even if you're not expert, you can make it up for rhetoric, then that would be fine. I don't think you'd be doing anything bad. So like even just and I guess this is just supposed to make her look bad, like I legitimately have a headache. Like above my left eye.
so fucking stupid.
Bombshell ending? What do you got? Oh my god! That's the dumbest fucking shit I've ever seen in my life. Ugh. Give me a minute. Yeah, it's worse than a response. It would literally be worse. This is literally worse than if he would have just said nothing. Earlier he put out a thing saying that he's gonna stop interacting with like the people in the DGG orbit because it's toxic. But no, he's doing it because he can't recover from this. He made this as a defense for how he's behaved, and now he's gonna leave. He's gonna run away from the entire anybody who would try to challenge him on this. God. Wait, what did I say? They told me to be careful. This is white blood cell speech. So here's the thing. Maybe. It could be. But if anything, I'm white blood selling myself because he, Sunday and I already don't get along. He has me blocked on everything. He's lied about me, publicly, until he got caught and then he walked it back. Credit where credit's due. Mr. Girl caught him in the middle of it and shut him down. Very, very good poll here. How dumb are GGGers? Yes or yes. Somebody said I'm excited for this masterpiece. Oh my gosh. That person's gonna drown themselves in their fucking bathtub after they see this. Imagine expecting a masterpiece and getting this. He blocked me on Twitter and I got him to unblock me because he tuned into my stream. Wish he would just block me again. I hate being blocked by Sunday because I can't see any of the stupid shit that he says on Twitter. That's what he lied about too. He lied about blocking me on Twitter. Like, what a dumb thing to lie about. And he blocked me because I told him a video of his was unethical, like the way he did it. And instead of engaging with it, he called me stupid and told me if I took down the tweet, which I wasn't going to anyways, that he would repost it. He's like, I dare you. I already have it saved. I'll repost it. And then he got like really aggressive with me before I could respond. He blocked me. And when I called him out on it, he said that he did not do that. Trying to make me look like an unhinged liar, I guess, which made me really mad. I don't like being called a liar, but it's so bad. It's so bad. Like, there's somebody in his chat for the video said, I love how he quotes Wikipedia. Getting your definitions from any given source from Wikipedia like it's going to the local Scientology center for the definition of what a religion is. Are we sure he's not having some kind of mental health crisis? Maybe Kyla can help him find a therapist. Oh! Is it... I don't want to pronounce your name wrong, but it looks like it's Pubzulu. Thank you for subscribing. I appreciate it a lot. Thank you for watching me suffer through this. I'm glad I didn't have to do it alone. I'm surprised I haven't been blocked yet. Can I have anybody? Pubes. Noted. I'm still gonna watch the Demon Mama video that Sick cropped down from 8 hours to 2. Oh, I see. Pubes, ooh. I see. My plan was to watch that and then watch this, but I thought this was dropping like way later than it did. Once I found out it was at 9, I was like, well shit, I'm not gonna I didn't want to watch the Demon Mama one at like 4 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, it was 8 hours, I think, and Sick cropped it down. And I'm gonna see if my wife wants to watch it with me, because the only person I know who gets that. Oh, that was Weaponized Discourse. Well, not me. My channel was just a mile for the video. Oh, okay, sorry. Weaponized Discourse cropped it down. He has the 2 hour. Sick has the 2 hour version. Gotcha. I don't want to take that from her. My wife might watch that with me because she hates Demon Mama as much as me. And I know she's not just like she's not just doing like the supportive wave thing where like I'm really mad and I get really mad at Demon Mama and she chimes in, because one time she walked past and I was watching Demon Mama's video about the trans genocide to do a video with Will, and my wife just stopped. She's like, ugh, who the fuck is that ugly fuck on your screen? They're almost as ugly as Demon Mama. I said, that's Demon Mama. And my wife just went, ha! And just kept on walking. It's like her go-to thing to compare somebody to when she wants to be mean. Because she just really, really doesn't like Demon Mama. I think the last time we were like we had something on of hers, we were both playing Elden Ring, and my wife was just like getting really, really pissed. Like we were both playing, just not together. She's getting really, really mad, and I was like, "Where are you at?" She's like, "No, I just fucking hate her." So I told her if she wants to, she can watch that with me. She'll probably, if she does, she'll probably watch it. Sorry, I'm leaning like really close in to read the chat. She'd probably just watch it in Discord, and I'll just set up the other camera for her. But like, God, this video is gonna get a lot of like, I feel like it's gonna have a big effect on how funny it is gonna be to see Demon Mama support President Sunday's initial claims, when this is what he was packing for it. I wanna God, this is the one time I really wish I could talk to him, just so I could ask him a couple of questions about this. Like, what the fuck? That's really, really good, Desperado Sensei. There's been one good thing to come out of this, and that's the memes. The memes have been real, real good. I'm particularly fond of this one too. This one was really. Oh shit! I was looking up comics. I put your meme on the wrong page. That one. I really, really liked that one. I found some old comics and I had to look them up. They're all worth something. This one was really, really good. And then I assume Desperado that you made this. There we go. It's really good too. Gotta go. It's midnight and I'm tired. Take care. You too, buddy. We still got a stream together too. So I would say sometime like in the evening for me. Yeah, it's a banger. Desperado. Kyla can't get a job as a psychometrician, but if she did, she lied about it. And if it requires a degree, it doesn't count. You guys are on fucking point today. My God. So for me, it's like 10 a.m. I would imagine if I stream this later, it'll be between like 5 and 9 p.m. So I'm gonna go to bed in a little bit, probably. But just wow, like I'm actually impressed. Oh yeah, I took a screenshot because I thought it was really funny. Somebody said I didn't run, I didn't run, and his response is, "You're a brain dead loser." Like this is the guy who acts like he's the moral beacon of Twitch Pull and polices other people and tells them how to run their community in a way that is ethical, because obviously he's the one who's got that figured out. I think that if he didn't, he could have built up a much better name for himself and built a much better platform if he wasn't a fucking dick to people so bad. Like, it always comes off to me as like so he's just a weak little pussy. Like, if somebody makes fun of you like this, like my response to those kinds of things is just good one. Like you're not worth like a real response. You're not worth me making fun of, like what you said isn't worth you making fun of me back. He actually has to insult somebody for making the most common joke at him. And if it does, embezzled, frauded the Canadian government. Good God. Well, I think at least we had some. I don't know if you guys could hear that, but my disconnected Google Home likes to talk for no reason. It's kind of creepy. At least we had some good memes in here. That was nice. I'm still like really fucked up about how little there was here, but I'll just use it to make fun of Demon Mama more in when I watch her thing, because holy fuck. Imagine backing him and then seeing him drop this like this. Do you think she'll make another one? She should just cut her losses and just say like he said he had more or something. She should throw him under the bus. Like, let's be real. Sometimes throwing somebody under the bus is okay. It's the smart thing. It's the good thing to do. Some people deserve to be thrown under the bus. Okay, that's it. I'm gonna definitely watch the Demon Mama one later. Thank you, Pubes Uwu and Jenny for subbing, and Red Penny for following. It should be a really fun one later. I was expecting some crazy evidence to include the first time. He made it seem like she handed him a smoke. Yes! Yes! Sick! Yes! I figured I genuinely thought he was gonna have something that seemed like, holy shit, like this is a really big, this is something at least. Because the first one, like I said to him in his comments, I was like, well, I said it in a snarky way, but like, you should have brought this to her and seen if she had any explanation for it first. I said in a really cheeky way though. So because like on its own, if she didn't say anything back to it, it would have looked pretty bad. Like none of us are gonna do like that kind of research to validate it. You sort of have to wait for a response. So I thought it would at least be something like that. We're like, okay, I guess we have to wait for her response to like qualm it like the last one. But like, no, there's none of that. None of it. It wasn't anything like that. It was just fucking stupid. It was really fucking stupid. So I feel you. I swear to God, when I tell my wife what was on here, 'cause she knew it was gonna be on, she talked to me about it. She's like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" I'm like, "You can watch it, but watch my video, not his. Don't give him the views." All right. I'm out of here. Thanks again.